anyways. But what we're gonna start with is a mono black deck that's using the Rat King and Super Shredder. It seems like in the last two sets, all of a sudden how you build these decks has kind of like really changed. Where Moonshadow's been like an incredible card. I know it hasn't seen like a lot of maybe lasting play in the format, but like we were having a lot of success with it, and it didn't feel like anybody picked it up. So we'll see how that goes. But I think Moonshadow is great, and then it's like Moonshadow, Rat King, and Super Shredder all trigger on the same stuff, and so it's like all of a sudden we got like three different cheap black threats that all trigger on the same stuff, or not. It's not all exactly the same. Rat King and Super Shredder say at the beginning this is at the beginning of your instep. If a permanent left the battlefield under your control, you get to trigger this. You get to put a counter on it, and you make a 1/1 token. So when you play this on turn 2, if you've cracked a fetch land or sacked a Mishra's Bauble, which you'll do really consistently. I have 11 fetch lands in this deck. You have 3 power. You have a 2/2 and a 1/1 that is going to threaten to sacrifice 3 rats to return a creature card and all other cards with the same name from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So this card kind of reminds me of a Johnny, where you get 3 power over 2 bodies. That's going to be kind of threatening to go out of control if it doesn't die. I do think that when you play with the Rat King, because this is a 2-mana creature that you have to untap with to reanimate something, I don't actually think you want to play it in a reanimator deck for the most part. I think you want to play it in a value deck. And then sometimes you're going to return 2 or 3 Street Wraiths and it's going to be nuts. Sometimes you're going to return an Overlord, it's going to be nuts. Sometimes you're going to return 2 Overlords and it's going to be crazy. Sometimes you return 2 Nethergoyfs, It's like the Rat King, this value is nice to have access to, but it's more of it's a value card, not a like all-in reanimator card. And then we're also playing Super Shredder, which is a 2-mana 1/1. Whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, put a counter. This is not once a turn. This is not when 1 or more permanents leave the battlefield. It's not non-token either. It's also not even on your side. If your opponent cracks a fetch land or sacks an Eldrazi spawn, your Super Shredder gets a counter. On the topic of Eldrazi spawn, I thought about doing the K command splash in the shell. Where K command Super Shredder is kind of crazy. Like each time you sack a spawn, you get to put a counter on it. Doesn't work as well with Moonshadow, and it is definitely the case that the mana is rough. The mana is like getting more and more rough with splashing the K commands with just so many black 1-drops. Functional probably, but rough. So I decided just to start here instead. Okay, yeah, and then so when I made this comment, also I should talk about this. When I did the YouTube video talking about the cards from the set, I was talking about how the Rat King worked with Overlord, and everyone's like, you can't return Rat King with Overlord, you can't return like, and that's true, but you're mostly trying to return the Overlord with Rat King, and maybe fill up the yard with Overlord for Rat King. And it is annoying that it's an avatar, although I think it's very intentional. For standard set design, wouldn't be a big thing in modern, but yeah, you could not return this to hand with Overlord, which I don't know, maybe that'll end up being a bigger problem than I think it is. But again, the real synergy here is that Rat King returns Overlord, not that Overlord returns Rat King. Light red splash for Affinity and Boros. Yeah, let's go. On the topic of Airship, you could play Airship in the sideboard if you thought Blink was going to be very popular. The Witch's Cottage kind of getting us here. I'm going to keep this anyways. You could play Airship in the sideboard if you thought that Blink was going to be like really popular. However, I'm of the opinion that please don't play Ragavan. I just never have the Fatal Push. I mean, I could also draw a Moonshadow or a Goyf and be good against this Ragavan. I've got 12 1-drops I could draw right now. Don't find one. Let's see if there's a Ragavan on the top of my deck. Oh, sorry, a Fatal Push on the top of my deck for the Ragavan. I think I'm actually going to bobble myself a second time, which is a little bit weird. But if I see a Fatal Push, I really want to be able to push the Ragavan, and I'll know I can do that, and I can't, so just Thoughtseize. Tough hand to see. I feel like I have to take the Pride so they can't double 1-drop next turn. Okay, on the topic of Airship. Airship is good in this deck as a sideboard card against like Control and Blink. Airship is also good in creature-based combo decks that can afford the acceleration of Phyrexian Tower, Flare of Cultivation, so that you have the ability to play Airship 2 on turn 2 to dominate the board and also present some aggro. The format currently is too fast to just try to play Airship as a grindy card. There's too much Tron, there's too much combo, and there's the Fatal Push. um, there's too much Tron, there's too much combo to try to be playing the card in that way, in my opinion. I don't think this matchup is awful, but being on the draw with no one drop against the Ragavan is... I guess we had the Thoughtseize, but it's not great. We do find a Moonshadow. So if I go Moonshadow Goyf, I'm going to have a 2/2 and a 3/4. My opponent's going to play a Bombardment, and they can use the Bombardment to kill my Moonshadow. What was the reason for not making it K-Command? I talked about this in the deck tech already. But I did certainly consider playing K-Command. K-Command's good with Super Shredder. It's good with the Rat King. However, Moonshadow and Goyf, having these both in the deck, and we have like 18 black 1-mana spells, and not only is your mana going to be tough, just including Eldrazi Temple, but I think you also would want to include Field of Ruin. Field of Ruin's kind of cool with Super Shredder, where you get to like you get to trigger it twice. One for putting a permanent in your opponent's yard, one in your own yard. It's also a colorless land. It's also a good card. It fixes your mana. But so like the mana's weird there, and then it's also you have to play less fetch lands, and fetch lands are so insane in your Nethergoyf, Moonshadow, Super Shredder, Rat King deck. They're like they're all so good. Oh, they targeted the Nethergoyf? So okay, so then then they're just gonna sack the they're gonna sack the cat to kill the Goyf. I guess that makes sense. But that is going to grow my Moonshadow, so they can't get in with the Ragavan, and then maybe I can go Sheoldred's Edict the Ragavan, and attack the Ajani with Moonshadow. With Rat King and Super Shredder, is Shizo worth it? It's just any freaking time you put a land in this deck that's not a fetch land, it has to be so good. If it's not a fetch or a fetchable, it's got to be really good. I mean, I'm going to block. I don't know that they... What am I going to do? I'm going to block. Maybe they drew a 1-drop. I have an Edict that can kill a Johnny. What about trying Voice of Victory with Super Shredder? You could do that. You could play those cards together. So they have another Ragavan that they're going to sack to kill the Moonshadow with, I assume. Their hand is currently Seasoned Pyromancer mystery card. Maybe they don't have the extra red source for the Seasoned Pyromancer. That would be pretty nice, huh? Let's go to make them sack a Planeswalker of their choice. Any Planeswalker over there will do. Shizo is almost free. I don't know. You would have to cut a fetchable, which is maybe fine, but it literally, like, the fetch lands are also free. You know what I mean? Both are free. They drew an Arena of Glory. They're also free, so it's just kind of tough. Giving evasion to Rat King could be good. Evasion? With what? Do they have Flage as their last card? No, it's a Thraben Charm. So it seems like they thought about exiling my graveyard this turn first, potentially. So I might just escape a Nethergoyf this turn. Let's see what we find off of the theater. We find another Overlord, which is kind of interesting. I guess it's okay to keep. This game might go kind of long, especially if I'm going to hardcast the other Overlord next turn. I might also Witch's Cottage something this turn. I do think I'm just going to grab the Goyf. We did mill a Cling to Dust, which is nice. And now I need to decide if I'm going to... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to Cottage Moonshadow this turn. I think I'll just get my Blood Crypt set tap so I don't have to draw it. And then Cottage something else next turn. Am I going to try... Rude but cool with Necro? Everybody, I guess there must have been like a Reddit post or something about this, but probably not anytime soon. I don't think the combo is very good, is the short answer. I think it's like kind of even worse than like Nethergoyf, potentially. They have double discharge, okay. Not the end of the world. But yeah, I think it's potentially worse than Nethergoyf. Well, I guess I can't, if I'm going to cast the Overlord, I'm not going to get to Cottage anything yesterday. Or sorry, Nethergoyf, Cosmogoyf. The Cosmogoyf fling stuff. Maybe it's better. Like the Cosmogoyf stuff didn't test super well, for whatever that's worth. So I'm not like super excited about it or anything. I think it's gonna be kind of whatever. It's also like slow and telegraphed and like weak to having and like weak to just being attacked, which is not very optimistic either. It's not the worst ever though. There's a Super Shredder. Super Shredder is tempting because I can escape the Nethergoyf. Sure, let's take the new card. And then we will keep the Bauble. They do get to surveil here, and we can all scream in our heads if it's a Flage. One Tomb of Arami over one Swamp. I'm just gonna play the Swamp. I'm not gonna change the mana anymore. And you know what? We don't have to even have these conversations about these black utility lands because they're all worse than fetch lands. It's like, but they're just all worse than fetch lands. And I also we have Thoughtseize, Street Wraith, like Tomb of Arami. The pain from that card is like really, it's gonna lose you more games I think than it would win you. They've drawn a Johnny off the top, so gross. I think they can kill the Overlord, right? They go one. Yeah, maybe I'm not dead, but this is annoying. Interesting that they're attacking first. So I block here, take 2 down to 7. Then they Johnny me down to 6. I think this is weirdly saving me more life because of the them kind of needing to kill with bombardment. We were exactly dead. Were we? If they didn't attack? They didn't have 9 damage, I don't think. I think you miscounted somewhere. Now, Super Shredder against bombardment is pretty interesting because whenever they sack something to bombardment, you get a counter. However, it's a active player, non-active player trigger situation. Although, I guess when they sack something, it goes on the stack, and so yeah, I guess it just maybe they're even not going to realize that here. We'll see. Let's see what we draw. We draw a Marsh Flats. So let me go. I'm gonna try to bait the Seasoned Pyromancer. I don't want to play the fetch land because I don't want them to, or yet I don't because I don't want them to know that this is gonna not work out for them. Because they might not know that. Because if they sack, then the Super Shredder wins. Although it did not work out for me here. All right, so I go down to 6. They Johnny me down to 4. They can sack. I guess I'm dead to an untapped land if I sack this Marsh Flats. I don't have to be. Yeah, let's cling to dust this turn, I suppose, instead of Nethergoyf. Winning this game would be awesome. Not really in the worst shape. Street Wraith's not the best draw. And it's worth the 46 months. Appreciate your support. Yeah, I know we have Cling, so I probably should have said this, but yeah, I'm just thinking about Cling versus different line. It'd be nice if they bricked on the draw step. That'd be great. Oh, I'll get a record tracker up since. Well, actually, hold on. Is it underneath? Oh, it is underneath. Okay. All right, so they bombardment me. I'm going to go ahead and Cling to Dust the Seasoned Pyromancer now before they could play a 5th land. So we get a 3 lands, 4 lands, still 1 land in the yard. Just trying to keep types for Goyf. Yeah, I do have a Casey Jones deck that looks kind of fun. It's a Rakdos build that's like more mid-rangey. I was also trying to look at it like that Mardu Titans deck too. I was looking at it in like Hollow One. It was a very difficult card to deck build with. Do you think Leonardo Cutting Edge combo would be something? I don't even know what. Let me know what the combo is. No, Urborg is way too detrimental to your own stuff. If to play it, in my opinion, it has a really big cost to play. Like I would just rather play fetch land instead. The fetch lands are so good. Just play the fetch lands. All right, so they messed up pretty bad by waiting on their land here. We are going to be able to kill another Ajani. We've drawn a Thoughtseize for turn. So I'm going to attack the Ajani. That will grow the Super Shredder. Then my opponent basically has... I'm just trying to think if I can cycle this or not. I'm dead to Flage if I cycle it. All right. I think I'm going to hard cast instead of going for the Goyf, because if I draw a land, then I can go escape Goyf and escape Cling. Super Shredder looking great so far. Only playing 3 copies. And this is also coming online at the end of my next turn. Opponent's got no cards in their hands, so we don't need to worry about playing things main phase 1 or 2. Super Shredder has menace. Okay, Leonardo Cutting Edge, Agatha So Culture Plus. Oh yes, sorry. I did miss that one. We have played Aerith combo in the past, and Leonardo is just like basically a better version of Aerith because it's 2 mana. Let me maybe make a note of that because I did miss it. Although I think I'll just start with my old Aerith deck with Leonardo and just see how it goes. Just it's like 2 mana Aerith is pretty exciting. I think. I don't. Maybe you still play 1 Aerith. TJ with the 11 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Honestly, Shizu might be real. Do you think it's better than a fetch or a fetchable? If so, you could include it. If not, don't. But I think I'd just rather play the 8th fetchable. Like, look how many lands we have in play here and are still like hungry for another one. And like fetch. And this is a Super Shredder, Nethergoyf, Rat King, Moonshadow deck. Fetch lands are bananas. It's just they're just too good. I think. Oh yeah, sneak for 1. Yeah, I guess so. You totally forgot about that. Wait, they're hasting something. Did they top deck Seasoned Pyromancer? 4 mana? It's Ranger Captain? So they're gonna haste this and haste a Ragavan. If I block the Ragavan, I am dead. If I block the Ranger Captain, I survive at 1. Winning this game with my opponent's draws being so good, and I was on the draw against the turn 1 Ragavan without an answer to it, that would be pretty cool. My calculations, I block here, and then I take 4. Oh, I die. No, okay, we lost this game. Damn it. Although this is a very rough top deck to run into, too. Sorry, yeah, we are dead. We'll make sure that they see the line. I did miscount. And they do see the line. Good news is my Super Shredder gets real big. Okay, down a game. So we're going to bring in our Graveyard Trespassers. We're going to bring in our Pyroclasms. And I think I'm going to go down 2 Edicts, 2 Thoughtseize. Yeah, let's do that. Maybe I want... Let's play the second Edict. I think I'll just play 1 Thoughtseize. Tough game. Tough game. Not a bad showing for the deck, but... Sorry, you're just playing against Boros again. Super Shredder looked great, I think. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand. I think I'm going to lead on the Moonshadow so I can get the counter off the Bauble. I'm sure you've explained this 100 times with Pyroclasm or Fire Magic. It just kind of depends on like how often you're going to be playing stuff for 1 mana. Or sorry, at instant speed versus not instant speed. But I think just generally with this lower curve deck, I like the Pyroclasms. It's not the biggest deal. I think I am going to get the Blood Crypt, so my Pyroclasms are live, though. They get scared off Pyroclasm of the matchup after opponent's trying to in my hand. I mean, I've been playing against Boros for like 2 years, and it's pretty good against them. It's kind of the best you got, in if you're playing red. So we do draw a land, although it is a tap land. They've got a Sacred Foundry there. They do have a discharge. So if I draw a fetch land, we'll play the Rat King, I think. Did draw a fetch land. Rat King time. Not a big fan of Detective's Phoenix if you have no way to discard it. Maybe the set's not all bad, huh? Yeah, they've got a Guide of Souls. They got a second copy of Galvanic Discharge. We got a rat left over to remember the Rat King by. We've got a new Rat King, although we don't have a way to trigger it this turn. And my opponent's hand is currently awful, although they're playing Boros, so they have some good cards to draw into. Plus, they have a. We Thoughtseize them, Arid Mesa, and a second arena. Okay. So they lead on the Arid Mesa. They get a basic plains. Hopefully this is Flage. It's Blood Moon. Gonna be content with that. Okay, Bauble's good with my Rat King. See what they're drawing. Okay, they're bricking. Let's go. Weirdly, turning off my fetch lands is pretty good, but I'm happy they boarded the Blood Moon against me. It's kind of funny. I board in red cards, and they board in Blood Moon. Don't need to cycle the Wraith yet. Could draw another Moonshadow. Could also maybe return Moonshadow. No, they're done. All right. Going to game 3 on the draw against Boros. Yeah, I might play 3rd Edict over 4th Rat King on the draw. Yeah, that's why we're playing 4 Rat Kings and only 3 Super Shredders. Is that like you could just sack the first one, play another one pretty often. I would think that they're gonna be pretty good at multiples. It might be main deck thing about the board out. Yeah, maybe. Listen, every time I have Blood Moon in my deck, and I have an opponent who's or I have a Twitch chatter who's like, bring it in, and it doesn't matter what the matchup is. Someone in the chat's gonna tell me to bring it in. Okay, we're on the draw for game 3 against Boros. They've got a Flooded Strand. They do have a 1-drop. They've got a Ragavan that's a 2-1, or Goyf will be at least a 2-3. Hopefully we can draw a Wraith to make it a 3-4 and get out of oh wow, we did. And get out of discharge range. There's an Edict. I mean, I would actually really like to draw the Edict, but it's very important I crack this fetch this turn. I'm going to wait on the Street Wraith so I can maybe get them if they discharge. Just playing 1 Cottage with a big, very fetch land heavy mana base and like Overlord. It feels good to play 1, I think. Surely there's a Rat King Soul Cauldron combo somewhere that ETBs to make more rats. We have to tap to sack it though, so I don't know that would combo ever. Maybe they've got a Thraben Charm to exile my graveyard, and then cycling Street Wraith would be like a nice 2-for-1. Is it not better to cycle Wraith to get Edict? Maybe it was, yeah. I do definitely like the idea of a blowout situation. Like we're gonna get a 2-for-1 off the Wraith, off the Goyf because of the Wraith this way. So, like you kind of forfeit that if you cycle the Wraith for discharge and Thraben Charm. Seems like they're thinking about dealing 2 damage to the Goyf instead of exiling my graveyard, which doesn't really make like a lot of sense, right? Yeah, so we'll let that resolve, and then I'm gonna cycle the Wraith. And not only did we get a 2-for-1, like they spent 3 mana and I spent 1 mana, and then I drew the Sheoldred's Edict anyways. So pretty good exchange. I'm gonna go ahead and play this so I can get a second black source if they left the Blood Moons in, or I could surveil end of turn if my opponent doesn't play into my Sheoldred's Edict. Mass Swan, thanks for the raid. Hope y'all are doing well. Don't think I've heard from Mass Swan before, but appreciate y'all. Welcome everybody. Have we done the extra comments variation? Yeah. Okay, this is our first match of Turtles. We're still in match number 1. I think I want a Pyroclasm here. Wouldn't the deck be better named Mono Black Rat King? No, we have 2 rats. Super Shredder is also a rat. 2 new rats. Thanks, Mast. Second Edict does seem actually pretty good with the double Trespasser. At least better enough than the average top deck, I would think. Now, what the best case scenario is my opponent has a Flage. We just get to Trespasser post Flage here. But we got back-to-back 2-for-1s on the draw against Boros here. Did they mulligan? I can't tell if they mulligan if I just got 2-for-1s. Guess it doesn't matter a lot at this point. I drew a Cling to Dust. I think I'm gonna not draw a Goyf here. I with if I could escape a Goyf potentially down the line. Not a big deal. Not bottom block. We're splashing a couple sideboard cards. I don't know if you feel like I've been clickbaiting you here, you can lodge a formal complaint. One thing that I do tend to find that's pretty consistent about these kind of decks in Modern is that they're just weirdly good against Boros. You just really wouldn't expect it, but like this formula of like Moonshadow, Goyf, Graveyard Trespasser, Cling to Dust, Fatal Push. It's like a lot of times K Command being involved is great. It's like it weirdly lines up good against Boros, and like I don't think you would really expect it to be the case. So they played Arena. They did keep a card on top. Maybe it's a Galvanic Discharge. We could have cycled the Cling to Dust there, but to me, it kind of feels like the way we lose this game is my opponent gets lucky and they surveil a Flage into the yard. Although maybe if this attack gets to happen, then that's not really a concern. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go and cycle a Cling. Since now that's not really much of a concern. Playing this does flip the Trespasser back, which is like a little not great, I guess, but it's gonna be okay. I do think that there's a small chance they've got Wrath of Skies. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna escape the Goy for play the Trespasser. I think we're gonna just chill. Would I consider Hitsugu Consumes All Respiro? It's great against Affinity. Do not play Hitsugu Consumes All on your Nethergoyf deck. Okay, Thraven Charm. Exile my graveyard. So I guess we might as well Cling to Dust again. And we don't even need to worry about what we're escaping, since it's all getting exiled anyways. I wonder if there's no way they kept the Thraven Charm, right? Surely they already had that one. Wait, Super Shredder is not a rat? I thought. Wait, isn't Shredder the character a rat? Is Super Shredder is different from regular Shredder? Or did the rat's name Shredder, right? The sensei? What's that guy's name? Splinter. Okay. Yeah, I thought for sure that guy's name was Shredder. Well, okay, well, super or not, let's play Shredder. A lot of turtle heads in the chat, huh? I want to do this main phase so I can exile the Ragavan with the Trespasser. Thanks for the 42 months, Bambino. Alright, so the title is a total lie, then. Alright, so we defeat Boros in round 1. Alright, on the play. Does anybody have a worse IP that they could have made? Or like, you know, what's like the worst TV show that they could have universe beyond it into Magic the Gathering? It can't be Turtle. It can't be the worst one. Real Housewives of Utah, maybe. That's a keep. That's a keep if I've ever seen one. Magic School Bus. Magic School Bus would go good. Family Matters. Urkel. I'm gonna go ahead and play a Rat King so I can get the trigger. Although having 2 Shredders definitely feel like I want to play one. Jimmy Neutron. Have you looked at the Jimmy Neutron characters in like the last decade? The animation did not age well, I think. Do not believe that the animation aged well. So is Rat King leaving up to the Black of Johnny hype? Well, we're undefeated with the deck. We've played one match. I think Rat King and looked solid that game. Super Shredder looked really good last match, but we're in round 2. Beat Boros. I saw Mono Black Rats and thought maybe I could afford to play Modern again. Almost 900 the deck. I'm stuck forever playing Pauper. I'm so sorry. I think I'm gonna play Super Shredder first. My opponent would need to binding um the I guess maybe they're just gonna binding this now, then I'm not gonna get my attack in. Maybe I don't know why I thought they would let this resolve. For some reason I thought they would. You see trying to do you see trying to play mill with the new card? I think you should try to mill. Also, what is my new sponsor? Also, what is your new sponsor card Nexus? Is it like Card Nexus? Is it like Moxfield? It's not like Moxfield. It's actually why I'm able to do this and Moxfield at the same time, is because Card Nexus is a collection storing site, and Moxfield is a deck list storage site. And we're gonna be doing a little bit of a showcase on Friday, but they're a pretty new site. It's for storing your Magic card collection. And I don't remember what your first question was at this point, but I guess I won't answer it. I guess I should play another Rat King, even though we're not triggering the disappear. Reprieve. Okay, so I mean this is just definitely creativity then. I wonder if they're playing the new Raph and Mikey, the just the new one that they drew a creativity. Whenever you attack, you flip it to reveal a creature. I think that card is really good in creativity. I didn't build a creativity deck with it yet, just because it is kind of boring, right? We are gonna need to find a Sheoldred's Edict, and we're gonna need to find it fast. Although maybe the Rat King can give me some fodder for a little bit. Kind of unlikely to get the job done. I do want to hold up a Fatal Push for another creativity. So I'm down to 3 life points. So if they have another creativity, they should go for it here. No, they have to Fable. So my Fatal Push grows the Super Shredder up to 7/7. I've got 9 power against a 15 life total opponent. So I don't think I have any cards that are lethal top decks. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to game 2. So down a game against creativity. I didn't come very prepared for the matchup, I think. Fatal Push is probably gonna end up being okay. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to get underneath them and then Sheoldred's Edict and Archon if it sticks. They're playing Leyline Binding, so they're not very likely to have Persist in their deck. Maybe they have like 1 or 2. Could they creativity the Archon? They could, yeah. They wouldn't necessarily do that, but they could do that. I'm very excited about this hand because this is a Moonshadow that can survive a Lightning Bolt on turn 1. Shredder's been looking good so far. I've been impressed, I'd say. There's a Brother's Hood which is not going to be able to deal with my 1-drop. So far, I'd say Shredder has looked better than the Rat King, although very, very small sample size. Hopefully don't draw a bunch more lands. Oh, sorry, I didn't do this draw step. Let's go. Although they do get to store the energy. Moonshadow still very, very good. And we've drawn another one. Now, we do know that they have a Brother's Hood but they can't cast it next turn. We should probably be able to get this. Okay, well. Hopefully these 2 Moonshadows go the distance is my new plan since we drew a bunch of lands here. I'm going to have to put this in the graveyard so that this Moonshadow survives Brother's Hood, even though it is a spell. All right. Didn't need more spells. So 2 pretty lopsided games. We'll go to game 3 here. Count the 3 months. Still loving the content after a 3-ish month from hiatus. I'm back. Great. I've been motivated by one of my friends making worlds. That's awesome. Very cool. A good feeling. All right. Don't love this hand on the draw. I think we'll keep. Not as nuts as last hand. Another Moonshadow is welcome. Scared of a Ridden 6? Going to do a little Street Wraith pause there. Might pay off. Hate drawing that. See if they have a second. Oh, Snare? Damn, dude. Alright, they graveyard a Blood Crypt. We draw a Nethergoyf. So what I think I'm going to do... Play both of these and hold up a land so that they would be worried about a Fatal Push if they went for a Creativity. And if they have a Brother's Hood end, then I potentially could save my my Nethergoyf with Cling to Dust. So they bolt my Nethergoyf. They're playing both Bolt and Discharge and also Binding. Alright, so I guess we should Cling to Dust now, although kind of open ourselves up to Bolt, although not much we can do about that. We do draw another Moonshadow, although now we're going to need to find Thoughtseize or just hope they don't have a Creativity. Draws have been really rough the last 2 games. Like, okay, maybe not last game, but our top decks were rough, but it didn't matter. They didn't get a token, which kind of means that they just don't have a Creativity in their hand right now because they'd want a Creativity X equals 2. It also means they have at least one more fetch land in their hand because they would want to hold the fetch land for a Creativity. They play a second Raveler. Now, I do have a Cling to Dust in my yard, so I'm not completely flooded here. They do bounce the Moonshadow. And let's see what we draw. We draw a copy of Thoughtseize. Not bad. Let's go ahead and attack the Teferi first. And they have a Binding. So now we'll Thoughtseize their 3-card hand. Seems like we got to take the Fable. Did you see the big drama from Morrow saying Spider-Man outsold Edge of Eternity? No, and I'm sad that you think I spend my time looking at stuff like that. Can you believe what Mark Rosewater said? All right, so we're going to Witch's Cottage Super Shredder. Play Super Shredder. Crack the fetch, getting it out of Ridden 6 range. My opponent's hand right now is just a Veil of Summer. And I'm going to just main phase Cling since they've got the Teferi. And, I mean, I'll target a fetch land, although it doesn't seem like we're very likely to be able to get them off of their fetch lands. So we know their last card is a Veil of Summer, so this Thoughtseize isn't exactly a great draw. Maybe they'll get like a Stomping Ground here and cycle the Veil, though. That could happen, although it doesn't exactly seem like I'm that likely to be able to Thoughtseize anything effectively. They do get a Dwarven Mine, which means I guess that they're only playing 1 Surveil land. Did they top deck Creativity? Well, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. All right, so we're 1-1. I'm gonna mulligan no threats 4 lands. Keep this. Probably put back the Wraith. It's the Bauble trigger shredder. Why is cool but rude 18 tickets? I don't think that the card will be very good in modern. I don't know if people are thinking it's going to be very good in standard or something. Maybe I'm totally wrong about it or something. That this like combo with Necro is real. So up against Storm, I do have Damping Spheres in the Storm inside today. They go for a Rin's Resolve. We don't. Oh, sorry, and they had an Artist Talent and a Wooded Foothill, so they're probably gonna want to play the Artist Talent this turn. Should be relatively safe to play the Super Shredder. We do really want to get some pressure going, and they would need to draw a Ritual or a Manamorphose to be able to possibly win the game this turn. And then that would also be risky because they might not be able to play the Artist Talent. They have a Gemstone Caverns on top. Is there one Marvel character to get me hyped for the Marvel set? Mine is Jeff the Land Shark. I mean, I like a lot of Marvel characters. I'd be hyped for like any of the X-Men probably. Maybe I should have just played the theater here. I gotta hold up the Edict this turn, I think. They just Artist Talent level 2, playing around my very telegraphed Sheoldred's Edict. Which makes sense. So I guess I'm going to get to Overlord. Though it's not very meaningful pressure here. In for 4. See if they crack the fetch to grow the Super Shredder. Do think that they're probably going to be able to combo off without the Rao. They discard the Rao even. They discard a Pyretic Ritual, which doesn't exactly bode well. They discard another copy of Rao. They hit a Glimpse, a Rin's Resolve, and another Glimpse. We grow the Super Shredder up to 6/6. Certainly still possible for them to brick, although not very likely. They find a Grape Shot, they find a Rao. Yeah, I'm excited for the Rakdos Casey Jones deck. Let me know if there's any of the decks I've got posted that y'all really want to see next, by the way. Let's go and go to game 2. So I'm going to bring in my Damping Spheres. Vexing Bauble stops flipped Rao, but I think I'm just going to be cutting the Edicts. I know that they can be kind of good against flip Rao and like play around it a little bit, but they're just 2 mana and they are only targeting one thing. Hey Shane, how's it going? Okay, on the play for round 2. Hard to mulligan. Threats plus Thoughtseize here, so we don't have to. We don't have to mulligan this hand. It is maybe a little bit interesting. Do we Thoughtseize turn 1 so that we can play Super Shredder turn 2? Or do we play Goyf turn 1 so we can get more damage online? I think I'm going to go for the Thoughtseize turn 1. Not 100% sure that this is the right move. Okay, so they have a million answers for... they have a million answers for Damping Sphere. This is actually kind of cool against Thoughtseize too. I'm going to take the Prismatic Ending, I guess. Oh, sorry. More with the 31 months. Thank you. Welcome back. My opponent went, what did Foothills go? We drew a second copy of Thoughtseize. So I guess I kind of need to Thoughtseize this turn, right? Because my opponent has 2 untimely malfunctions, and if I wait, they can redirect the Thoughtseize to target me, and I can't really let that happen. I'm gonna take the Manamorphose over the Glimpse. I think Glimpse is pretty bad without a cost reducer. There's a Graveyard of Sacred Founder here. Now, it does kind of stink that if I draw down, I guess it's not dead, because it kind of it taxes their mana and kind of grows the Goyf and the Super Shredder too, I suppose. Not exactly a dead card. Oh, I didn't even realize I was in my draw step there. So they should crack their fetch and response. People already wise to playing around Moonshadow or Super Shredder. So we're attacking for 5 this turn, and then, oh, sorry, 3 this turn, and then 5, 6, 8 next turn. Maybe 9 if we surveil a permanent in the yard. So probably 2 more turns till we get them. They hit 2 rituals off of their Reckless Impulse, and then they've also drawn another copy of Prismatic Ending to get rid of either my Goyf or the Moonshadow. They go for the Goyf, which does grow the Super Shredder. Draw another copy of Moonshadow, so not really much thinking going on this turn. I think we could Witch's Cottage back Street Wraith for the Moonshadows, but I think it makes a lot more sense to surveil, and if I hit a permanent, I grow the Moonshadows anyways. All right, there we go. All right, so they are dead next turn, and if they drew like a Ruby or a Ral this turn, they've got a pretty good chance. Looks like they did not, so they're going to go Ritual, maybe another Ritual into Glimpse. I don't know if they can afford to do that. They do feel like they have to. They Glimpse and they hit Pass in Flames and a Desperate Ritual and a Scalding Tarn. They can play the Scalding Tarn and they can Desperate Ritual to get up to 4 mana, but they're going to be 2 mana short of Past in Flamings here. So they just cast Rin's Resolve, and it shouldn't really matter very much. I don't know if there's any combination that gets them out of this, because they would have to. Oh, of course, Eldrazi spawns. Although, does this get them out of this, since they can only block 1 creature? I guess it would have, but then the Street Wraith makes this a win. And then this makes it even more of a win, but I guess this is already a win, and you don't need to win more. Okay, so we're going to game 3 against Storm here. I always forget the spawn tokens are coming off Glimpse. So we're on the draw. We have no Damping Sphere, we have no Thoughtseize, we have no 1 mana creature. My opponent's on a Multi 6. Let's join them. Now, I don't love that they do just have roughly infinite answers to Damping Sphere, and so like mulliganing to Damping Sphere doesn't exactly feel very safe, but we'll see. It's also possible that they pulled away a little bit on their amount of hate cards. I do think it's good to cycle the Wraith on our turn so that we can dig for a copy of Mishra's Bauble and have that be useful this turn if we draw it. Hey chat, what's the verdict? TMT dead on arrival. Oh my gosh. Let's chat. I just can't handle this negativity. I'm not very excited for the flavor either. You could you don't have to come in and say, hey chat, are we bored? I don't know. Super Shredder looks good. Not sure, we haven't played that much with Rat King yet. It seems fine. So probably no. I guess I don't want to Thoughtseize this turn because of the untimely malfunction. They might untimely malfunction the Damping Sphere before I deal damage because they just get like excited, and I might get to deal an extra damage here too. They don't have it. It's good news. Yeah, I agree. It's beating a dead horse. You know, I'm a Magic streamer. I'm here to stream some Magic. All right, so they have a Prismatic Ending. guess I take a Manamorphose. And I guess I'll exile a Prismatic Ending. There's a Pyretic Ritual, sorry. Cobra Root seems really neat. Yeah, I didn't realize this was somehow the card everyone's excited for. I hope y'all are right that it ends up being good. I think that there's, to me it seems like there's little chance that cool but rude is like the answer for that is the answer for these decks, but maybe I'm missing something. All right, we do have them dead next turn. Not too bad. Turn 4 kill while also casting a Damping Sphere and the Thoughtseize. They don't hit a Prismatic Ending off the Reckless Impulse. I guess we're just milling it over anyways, but... Oh, I should have put it on top, because what if I somehow didn't hit a permanent? Seemed pretty unlikely, but I guess possible. And I do still kind of wonder like what Nadu would have been like without Springheart Nantuko. Alright, so mulligan, that's 7. I guess we're going to keep this on 6. Can I show you my hot TMT brew with a card not on the PowerPoint? Sure. If it's the Aerith turtle, the gain a life, put a counter. I did miss that one. Okay, we're playing against Storm again. You said Ketchumos would be broken. I said Ketchumos would be the best card advantage engine in the format, and it like, okay, they have another Ral on top. So I guess I take Valakut Awakening. I said it would be the best card advantage engine, and then it was, and then they printed a better one. Oh yeah, very wrong in Hellraiser. People do act like I was wrong on Ketchumos, but it was good, and then the meta adjusted for it, which I don't think you can really account for in your evaluations, you know what I mean? That the meta kind of like warped around it a little bit, or it adjusted. I don't know what to say. It is Leo. Yeah, we had talked about this earlier, but I mean, you don't have to put unplayable cards in your deck for Leo. Yeah, I mean, I think this card is awful. I think I'd probably just I would be playing the Gear Hulk build again still. The Gear Hulks were just so good. All right, we need some pressure here. No pressure. Maybe be keeping these for Super Shredder, Moonshadow, and just not crack the fetch. Do find one here. Super Shredder also kind of feels like a magic card for whatever that's worth. They graveyard another copy of Past in Flames. Very weird game so far. Hate drawing another swamp. I attack for 2 on turn 5. So my opponent's hand is 3 Rals, a Glimpse, a Past in Flames, and a mystery card. Now the thing is, I feel like I can't push this yet. Maybe I should. Let me see what I draw. No, if I draw an Overlord, I want to be able to like hard cast that. But I don't want to let them glimpse yet. We'll let them, or make them take another turn to play Ral. And we did draw another Edict. Didn't want to Cottage Street Wraith. Well, Street Wraith doesn't trigger Super Shredder, so it doesn't seem like that would do a lot. So the Shredder is going to be a 5/5 after this next turn. Their hand is 2 Rals, a Glimpse, a Past in Flames, and now 2 mystery cards. Yeah, we've talked. There must have been a Reddit post or something. I don't know, but there's been a ton of talk about Cool but Rude Necro. My evaluation is that it's not going to be the optimal way to build Necro, and that it's not going to move the needle very much on the archetype. I'd love to be wrong, because I do think it sounds pretty cool. So we will see, I suppose, is kind of where I'm at. It doesn't. I don't even know that it's better than Cosmic Wave Fling. We could try it out. I'm not necessarily opposed to trying it out. Notably, when they sack the spawns, it does grow the Shredder. Hopefully, they've won both of these flips though, which is pretty tough because we were getting pretty close to like putting them in dangerous flip range. So their last card is a Past in Flames, which is a problem. It's still a problem. Let me see if maybe they block with the spawns because they don't know I drew Fatal Push. So I'm hitting them for 6 here. We dealt with all the Rows. They're down to 7. They have a Past in Flames in their hand. They have a Grapeshot in the yard. They have 2 rituals. They get to go Past in Flames, Ritual. I don't know that it's enough to kill me. I only see 2 rituals. Is there a third? So they have 5 mana here, which means that if they glimpse, I think they need to hit something off of a glimpse. There's a window with Edict after Ralph flip. Yeah, I mean, I know that, but it was just better to kill the Ralph there. Not let them continue to get the discount. So yeah, because right now they could hit me down to 2 life with the Grapeshot. That's not enough. So if they need to hit like Glimpse into a ritual. Or sorry, not Glimpse, a Rin's Resolve into a ritual. So instead they cast Glimpse and they do hit a ritual and they hit a land. And that's going to be enough. All right, running it back. Did we lose game 1 against Storm last time? I think we did. Or second time playing against Storm in a row here. Not necessarily the most exciting. Yeah, I agree Super Shredder plus K command seems pretty promising. So there's a chance you do something like move away from the Overlord Rat King stuff and you move back into K command. I don't think Trespasser is very good against Storm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really ever bring it in. Is there more Storm than normal? I mean, this specific league we are running into a slightly above average amount for sure. Definitely keeping the 7. We're on the play. I think I'm gonna be leading on our Nethergoyf here so I can get the pressure down. I guess I should cycle the Wraith also, so if I draw Bauble, then we can cycle it this turn. They do keep a card on top. We draw a second Damping Sphere, which might be a blessing, because maybe we get to play through a removal for the sphere. I guess I'll take one of these. Kind of a weird hand. With how cheap cards and mana values are getting in Modern, will a card like Venerian Glimmer see play? Okay, they reveal a Wish and a Past in Flames, so both kind of blank. Their hand is really blank at the moment. I think I'm just going to prioritize getting more pressure on this turn. Put 3 power in play. Okay. Target player reveals their hand. Choose a non-land card mana value actually less the player discards that card. Is this a new card? I've never seen this card. It seems pretty bad to me. Like, I don't think that this card would have seen play, like, in any format ever. Let alone current Modern. Main phasing this to grow the Goyf. I guess this also grows the Goyf, doesn't it? I'm gonna crack the Mire and I'm gonna play the Damping Sphere, so it's not like we have other decisions to be made. Not gonna return to Street Wraith end of turn. Is Venerian Glimmer a turtle card? I feel like I didn't even remember this one. It's Planar Chaos. Okay, very random. Cool card. I do always love to learn a new card. Rat King 5 power. I don't know. All right, game 3 again. Very, very similar back-to-back Storm match here. We beat Boros. We lost to 5-color Creativity. That seemed like a tough matchup. And then we beat Storm. Now we're going to game 3 against Storm. Yeah, I do like the rat token. Where can you see no banless modern deck list? You can see mine at moxfield.com/user/aspiring spike. I haven't. I assume Magic Online is posting some, but I haven't really gone looking myself. No one drops, no keep on the draw against Storm here. We can try this hand. It's not amazing. I feel like maybe. Yeah, I think I'm just even gonna just not keep the Shredder. Just try to keep a second land for the Sphere. The Rakim seems mid. I mean, maybe. It was like, you know, two mana, 5 power, and growing that turn. Maybe that is mid and current modern, but it at least seemed fine. Maybe mid is fine. They're gonna start posting the list today. I thought they already were posting some. Creativity lives on in this modern environment. You see it every once in a while. It doesn't usually do very good. Although it did get buffed in the turtle set. There is a turtle that's just like a strict upgrade to creativity. It's a 7 mana. I think it's a 6/6 or a 7/7. It has haste. Whenever it attacks, you reveal cards, so you reveal a creature and you put that creature into play tapped and attacking. And so it's always better. It's always the best hit off your creativity, because if your opponent had a removal spell, they would have removed your token, so it's never going to die. And it's always like, you know, just whatever you're cheating into play plus a big creature. So, oh no. I don't know why. I mean, this is a fine draw, but like, I guess they haven't leveled the artist talent yet. Sorry, maybe it's just fine, probably. It's not a 1-drop. It also grows the Moonshadow if I graveyard this. That's better than Archon. Yeah, it's better than Archon because it's itself plus an Archon. It's also hard castable. It's like really hard castable. It's like it's an Archon that puts an Archon into play tapped and attacking, and it's also tapped and attacking. Uh-oh, discards a Past in Flames. Metamorphose. Oh, Prismatic Ending. Okay, not the end of the world here. Great draw. If it puts into play taps and attack, you only get 1 Archon trigger. Yeah, just like normal creativity, you only get 1 Archon trigger. But yes, you only get 1. Yeah, possibly if you just needed to block with the Archon, although I don't think that's... I don't know how true that is overall. Okay, I guess we're going to Cottage back the Rat King this turn, so we have some pressure for next turn. And Cling to Dust of Past in Flames. We didn't see it in their deck, but oh, they have two prismatic endings. Does this... I don't know how this works exactly. I guess they just, if they have a land, they can prismatic ending my Damping Sphere. Can you make a brief comparison between Moonshadow and Shredder, which is better for the deck? You know, I don't think it matters that much which is better. Which is maybe not a satisfying answer, but is my answer. Like they both seem super good, and they're both good with the same cards. So, like does it matter that much which is better? Is my question to you. Maybe it does, but it's like they just work. It's just like the same package of cards. It's kind of like, you know, which is better, Dragon Rage's Channel or Ragavan? Like that was a question that. Wow, we drew second Damping Sphere. That was a question that was really relevant for a long time in Is It Murktide, but it was never that important. Or that was a question people asked for a long time, but it was never that relevant because they were just good together and you just played them both together. But Super Shredder seemed very strong so far. I've been pretty impressed by it. All right, got some pressure in play. Growing by 2 every time we put a permanent in the yard. They play a Ral, so they've got 3 cost reducers, and we've got 2 Damping Spheres. It's a very weird board. The Ral does actually block here pretty well. You might only want to play 7, I guess. I mean, yeah, Shredder's a 2-mana legend, you know, so like just the two-mana cards that are legendary, you don't always want to play 4. Yeah, they do work with some different stuff. Like Shredder triggers on your opponent's stuff, and then Shredder works with your own K command, and Moonshadow works with Street Wraith. But it's like, for the most part, they're very synergistic and similar. So the next spell costs 4 more and 3 less, so I don't think they can play either of these here. We draw a Super Shredder. I guess we play this and we attack with a rat. I guess we attack with both. If they block the rat, we trigger the Super Shredder and the Rat King again. Yeah, so they should block here. Maybe I should have only attacked with the rat. Oh. Very weird game. They play a Mire, which grows the Shredder when or if they sacrifice it. They start their turn with a Ritual. Their next spell is going to be fully cost reduced. They go down to 8 life from the Rao. If they flip Ral, it triggers the Super Shredder. Another thing that triggers it here. Then they discard Manamorphose. Then they hit a Ritual and a Steam Vents off of their Impulse here. Now their next spell costs 1 more. So they could Pass in Flames for 4, but then the Pass in Flames is going to get anything after that's going to get totally shut out. So they go for a Rin's Resolve. I don't think they discarded anything. They lost the flip. Then they hit a Ritual and they hit an Impulse, which they are not going to be able to play because they cost net 3 mana more. We draw a copy of Cling to Dust, which is great because I can pick off the second Pass in Flames there. And then we draw Marsh Flats, which is nice to get in. I guess there's a little bit of a trick. I mean, it's on board, but oh wait, this grows in step, right? This grows immediately. This grows in step, so we don't get to grow the Rat King in combat. We do get to grow Super Shredder in combat. So now my opponent is down to 3 life, and we have lethal in play next turn, and we have 2 Damping Spheres in play. But they've got some stuff in play too. We've exiled both of their Pass in Flames, which is not nothing. They only have 1 card in their hand. They have, I think, a Ritual and an Impulse available to cast from exile. Also, they're at 2 life with a Ral in play, so they gotta win they have to flip Ral as soon as they win a flip, and they can't lose 2 flips in a row. Also, when they flip Ral, it does flip or trigger my Super Shredder. All right, now they're at 1 life. Will this flip determine the outcome of the game? I mean, it will if they lose, but we're still super ahead if they win, so not a bad place to be in. They do win the flip. Super Shredder becomes a 4/4. Even if they just put 3 spawns in play, we don't really care, right? Even if I guess they could kill. No, if they kill 2 rats, then they can kill 2 rats and put 3 spawns in play and be alive. Actually, instead they plus the Ral. Shiza would have been good here. I mean, I think the fetch land would be still better than Shiza, right? They hit another Ral, although they shouldn't be able to cast it. Yeah. All right, let's get a 4-1 prediction going. I think Super Shredders look great. Rat King has looked fine. Okay, so we're on the draw for round 5. I think I'll keep this. My opponent's led on Bloodstained Mire, and they've passed the turn here. Maybe just Ingorias. Maybe, I mean, it's kind of hard to fit Bauble in there. Rat King is a lot worse if you don't play Bauble in your deck. This is our second creativity opponent. This, oh, dang, I should have taken the Paw Patch formation. Sorry, I should have taken the formation because my double Fatal Push can contain the creativity pretty well. What do you think of Mono Black Soul Trader with Airship and Shredder? I don't know that you'd have to also play Moonshadow, and at that point you're like, I don't know that you're able to really Oh, I guess Trespasser is it's a payoff for the combo, huh? I didn't even really think about that. It's kind of cool. I do think Super Shredder is quite good. I don't know if you'd also play Airship or exactly where you'd play the Airship right now, because I do think Airship's gotten worse. Oh no. Bumble, the 2 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, the Edict is a nice pickup. I do think I'm going to cling to Dust main phase here, despite them having Persist in their hand. Maybe this is a little silly. What did creativity get to people test again? I don't know that they have it in their deck yet because it came out like an hour ago, 2 hours ago. But there is a turtle that is good. It is a strict upgrade in creativity for the most part. It is a 7 mana. I think it's a 6/6 or a 7/7 with haste. And when it attacks, you reveal cards from the top of your library to reveal a creature you put into play tapped and attacking. So if you creativitied into it, your opponent is, although it is going to be worse than the persist version because you can't persist it. But if you creativitied into it, you're going to get to put a Archon into play tapped and attacking. And that is, as it turns out, hold on, sorry. Maybe I just totally messed up with the cling to dust, because if they go creativity, this food token next turn, I sack, I edict, they just have the persist. Yeah, I feel like I guess I just need to hold up the edict and then cling to dust next turn. It sure is worse against the edict we have in hand. So that's true also about the food tokens. But like if you're going to creativity just on Dwarven Mines or creatures, like it's going to die. It like usually like what you would creativity onto would just die to your opponent's removal spell anyways. That's true against this stuff. It is worse also. But the upside, the power level is there. Just also getting a 7/7 trample haster and an attacking Archon of Cruelty. That being said, I am pretty dead this game. It's still only one trigger. Yeah, but also like I don't know, it's what it's a you get to it's 13 power of attacking plus an Archon trigger, so it's 16 damage versus just one Archon trigger. If we're comparing it to Archon. Again, I did totally blunder this game just by not taking the paw patch formation. That was really my mistake here. I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's also really nice that you just spend 7 mana cast it too. Like it's better to draw than Archon. What do you think Tomio sees so little play? I mean, Tomio's good. It's kind of complicated, I suppose. Why Tomio doesn't see that much play? Like the best control decks are are kind of incentivized to go bigger, or they're incentivized to play a completely flash focused game plan. But Tomio's still good. I think I like Valgoth better on paper. Yeah, but what if you just hit Valgoth off of Mikey? It's like, it's just a 7/7 trample haster plus something else that again is also better to draw. Let's go to game 2. This is our second time playing against creativity this league, and the matchup doesn't seem very good. Um, I ran it back last time. This is a persist version. The other version wasn't playing persist. The Trespasser is also kind of a reasonable threat against them. I do feel like these overlords are really slow. I'm just gonna trim 2 overlords. It's more so the deck is already being really cold to Solitude, and this doesn't help the issue. Being 7 mana makes it a lot better. I'll be testing at locals. So that if you're going to target a dwarf token, it doesn't really matter, right? Because they would just Solitude that. But if you are playing a bunch of like Paw Patch formations and like treasure tokens, maybe a Fable, although I don't know exactly how relevant that is these days, then you're right. So I don't really know. I don't really know how much that dynamic of like solitude matters, but it certainly seems like it matters a little bit at least. So I'm gonna shuffle this card away, despite wanting a Bauble or a fetch land for my Rat King next turn. I just really do not want to draw another Edict. They have a Bolt, they have a Looting, they have an Archon. Are there new cards that might impact no ban list stuff? For the most part, I would doubt it. I haven't really thought about it. I would not expect no banless modern to change very much. All right, so don't have a trigger for the Rat King. I use both of them turn one. So let's play the Super Shredder, which will grow off my opponent's fetch lands, of which they play a ton. Did I just rhyme? You're really in on Paw Patch with Fable tokens. Dwarves are pretty fragile but necessary. The no ETB is what makes me sus. Yeah, I get it. I do think that I do think that you're gonna play one copy, and you know, you're still gonna be cheating a big thing into play. It's not gonna be that different. It also doesn't get persisted, so if you're playing like this Jund version, it's definitely less appealing. So I guess we're gonna play a Goyf and we're gonna hold up Fatal Push for Fable token. Let's see what they do here. Would Shredder be good in a Flicker deck? I think unlikely. I think you really want to be playing this like Nethergoyf Moonshadow package. They do shock down to 7 life here. Interesting. Cool but Rude seems like a cool card. People are like obsessed with that card. I hope it's good. I think it's cool. It's very cool but very rude. I am at the moment not expecting that card to make like any impact in Modern. I think the power level's not there. I think the combo with Necro is not that powerful. I'd love to be wrong. It seems like the card people have asked for like the most by a lot, and it's just one I evaluated as not being playable. So we'll see. How's Shredder doing? Menace relevant? Menace is always relevant on any creature. It's one of the best abilities. And Shredder's been very good, I think, so far this league. I did mention a Goryo's version possibly where you build it like this this Jund version where you play Goryo's. I was trying to build it. I wasn't so sure. Like I was playing one Archon, one Griselbrand, one Traxa, and I wasn't quite sure what else to if that needed to come in the deck. Okay, well I'm gonna attack for lethal. Let's see if they have a bolt for my Super Shredder. They do. So if I Fatal Push here, then I have lethal. Seems like that seems very, very safe. Since, like, what are they going to do with 1 red mana here? Will be my universe of choice to get a universe beyond set. Definitely the Dark Souls universe or Dark Souls Elden Ring FromSoft. All right, game 2. Cool Barbary plus Seismic Assault. I just think for 4 mana, I'm not very optimistic about this card. You know, I think that the issue for me with this card is how expensive it is to go online. Yeah, I agree. The Rat King and Shredder, these cards do feel like they are Magic cards to me. Yeah, I think the Dark Souls would be awesome for Magic. I think it would fit really well. Flavor's super deep. So they have a turn 1 looting, so if they put an Archon in the yard, we'll hold up this Cling to Dust, I suppose. They do put an Archon in the yard. So, and now I've drawn a Moonshadow, so we're just not even going to play these, I think. We want them to cast Persist really bad. I'm going to click OK if they crack the Scalding Tarn really fast. However, they do not go for it, unfortunately. Do still need to Cling it so we can untap and use our mana. We draw a Super Shredder, which is interesting. I think I'm gonna wait on the Bauble maybe so I could trigger the Shredder next turn. At the very least, it doesn't seem like I need to crack it right this second. I don't know about Dark Souls. What would be the most expensive mana-wise creature? In specifically Dark Souls and not their other universes. Maybe Soul of Cinder. Well, that's a good card to know about, although I don't think I'm too scared of it. I don't think we're very likely to be playing our Super Shredder next turn anyways. Fetch land would be pretty nice. So I could have gone Shredder, Fetch land, Fatal Push. Instead, I guess I'm just going to Fatal Push, attack for 6. And hope they don't have a creativity. If they do have a creativity, we have a Sheoldred's Edict, so it's not like it's the absolute end of the world here anyways. But it would have also been nice to have drawn a land to have the Edict up. They discard another copy of Archon of Cruelty, so if they did have a Persist, we're going to get got. They also discard the Pyroclasm we knew about. Alright, we've been had... My point is Dark Souls wouldn't be made as Universe Beyond set because it's not as popular enough IP for the Costcos of the world. I don't know. I don't really give a fuck about that kind of stuff. But I also do think it would be popular. I think it would be one of the more popular sets, but I don't really give a fuck about like Wizards of the Coast making the most money, you know. Like any time there's a conversation about what set has sold the best or whatever, I just mentally glaze over. It's just so uninteresting to me. Gotta do this now before the Fable flips. I think that if we had drawn a land that prior turn and been able to Edict the Archon and like untap and Creativity it, or sorry, untap and Trespasser it, then maybe we were gonna be in good shape this game. As is, I don't know. They choose to not sack their food token, which is either a mistake, which would be good for us, or them just having another creativity in their hand, or a creativity in their hand, which would be bad for us. Bad for us, it seems. And we 3-2. All right, let's keep it going here. That was our first Turtle League. I thought Super Shredder looked very, very good, and I thought Rat King was kind of fine. Not a card I would be that excited to play, but like we'll play at least in one more league and see how it goes. I think it was fine. I feel like the issue with Super Shredder in this build maybe is that the rest of the deck kind of wants to be really aggressive, and like the Overlord stuff is maybe a little slower. I think I'd be interested in trying to play like K Command with Super Shredder. It seemed like that combo could be pretty good. Let's play this deck. Yeah, I've not played the Sewer Valence deck. That was our very first.